Hi guys, welcome to the virtual CBD show. I'm sure we'd all like to be meeting out in person at the actual event and the expo itself, but unfortunately you have to put up with me on this computer screen for a few minutes. Hopefully you enjoy it. But just to give you a bit of an introduction, I'm Jordan Ingram. I've been working for TPS for around 5.5 years, maybe 6 years coming up. Mainly sort of in an external sales and account executive role. So TPS's background and my background is a lot in sort of beauty products, cosmetics, vapey liquids, perfumes, etc. Well, when CBD first come out, I was obviously very interested in what it could do for me, and obviously in a logistics point of view as well, it can be very challenging. I've found that out as well by speaking to people at these types of shows and things like that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to having a chat now and seeing what advice I can offer you to make it a bit easier for yourselves. But before I start anything, I just want to give you a bit of a background on TPS Global themselves. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up some slides for you to sort of get a feel. So you have we have TPS Global currently is based in Kent. We have 2 sort of warehouses in the area, soon to be a third. Looking forward to that, and we started running a lot of fulfillment services for sort of the beauty industry, where sort of orders come in and the customer doesn't really have to get involved. We do all the sort of all the picking and packing and distributing for them. So as well as the import and export freight as well, which makes it very appealing. But yeah, we also have dedicated vehicles in the Kent area that we use sort of for our airport runs and things like that, just to make it a bit more so we have more control, not always sort of outsourcing and things like that, which is obviously why we specialize in time critical and high value services for customers like yourselves, and obviously CBD falls nicely into those categories. Being quite successful in what we've done in the last sort of 20 years we've been trading now, TPS. We've won quite a lot of awards along the way. So we're internationally recognised by winning the Queen's Award twice for services within international transport. Obviously, local awards as well. Kiva is sort of a Kent-based award where we've been quite successful too, which is always nice. Always value sort of working with local companies where we can, really. Regards to our transport accreditations as well, and obviously the WCA is a large sort of freight forwarding organisation where I myself I've been to like Asia a few times to meet our partners and to discuss sort of how we can grow and make our service more efficient across the board for our customers, and that sort of fits in nicely with trying to make our sort of specialised CBD service, the division I mainly work in, run a little bit better for you guys, and just to give you a bit more control, and especially with that sort of the high value goods that sort of you move around and things like that. So yeah, always helps. Also, we've worked at certain events as well. London Olympics, we did sort of quite a lot of freight forwarding for, being time critical event specialist as well. So yeah, it's all exciting stuff, really. Yeah, there's a picture there of my our managing director meeting the Queen. I think that was on the first time that we won the Queen's Award. So yeah, it's we've been sort of there and thereabouts for quite a long time now. I think that was quite early days as well. Maybe that was like 7-8 years ago as well. So it was a long time. Been a long time sort of growing, just mainly through referrals and recommendations as well. Trying to enhance our service. I touched on it before, but yeah, we have well, in 2 weeks' time we'll have 3 warehouses, a total of 135,000 square foot of warehouse space, and yeah, it's just to really focus on pushing the sort of e-commerce side of things, really try and make it streamlined, ensure that our customers don't really have to get involved too much, and sort of they can concentrate on growing the business, on the marketing and promotion of their company, and then, you know, whilst we're sort of the workhorse in the background. And yeah, that's what we're sort of working towards. We're working with the likes of like Amazon, Magento, eBay, Shopify, and I know that a lot of you guys that are sort of, you know, selling your white label products on sites like Shopify, etc. So we're actually ready for full integration. So a customer will place an order and automatically it will get generated to us, and the label, etc. would be generated here for us to pick, pack, and distribute it through our transport links. So we could move it to obviously across the UK, but not only that, internationally as well. And being CBD specialists, we move it in sort of a way that possesses the least risk associated. So yeah, it wouldn't be any sort of basic courier service, which I'll touch on a bit later for you. Yeah, it's just a bit of more information really about how many pallet spaces we had before sort of expanding to the 3rd warehouse. You know, a lot of our warehouse holds perfume, cosmetics, beauty products, so it's very high value. So obviously the security is got to be up there as well. So yeah, that's a key part of our key selling point of our product basically. Yeah, again, warehouse management system is what we're sort of aiming towards growing the most out of our services. Obviously the switch to e-commerce has made that a key priority of ours. So yeah, we're looking to, you know, make it a fully visual service. So any customers that do have product with us can view their stock levels and things like that via our online sort of service that we can provide a login, etc. too, and they can actually pick orders themselves as well if need to. Just a little example, we use Pixie as our warehouse management system. So just a few examples of what it can provide for you. If interested in any of these, then I'll provide my contact details later on in the presentation, and yeah, follow up with an email or anything with any questions. In terms of the freight forwarding, yes. So I mainly, I'd say 75% of my time is sort of dedicated towards the freight forwarding side of the business. So anything that you sort of have in the States, we work with a few customers in the States as well, bringing their stuff. Customers who are based mainly in the States, but they also have opened up an office in the UK. So they need to transfer stock between the two. Any advice they need for any HS codes, any sort of queries regarding how they should move it or anything like that, yeah, I can help with that. And also obviously perform the freight forwarding for them, door to door, make sure it's as simple and as easy as possible for them. And I said we work with both companies in the UK and the US as well, so it's not a problem that they're based in the US, because we have partners in the US that we can sort of make sure they're looked after, etc. So no problem there. Yeah, we've got our own vehicles as well. So as I said before, we do a lot of sort of white glove services, so delivery services. So some furnitures and things like that, some bespoke furnitures where they might need 2-man deliveries and things like that. That's another thing that we sort of pride ourselves on. As I said, any questions, I'll put my details up at the end, but yeah, oh, there it is. No worries, cool. Well, now I've sort of give you an example of how that will sort of run. Now you've seen that. I just wanted to sort of allow us to speak about maybe why your CBD in the past has incurred any problems while moving it, basically. So obviously, as we know, CBD is like, the fastest growing business sectors in the world. The question is how to maximize the opportunities and avoid the pitfalls. So, a lot of people I've been speaking to in the past have had their products, when importing them from the States or Asia or across Europe or whatever, have had them seized due to just misinformation given to them at the time about how they can move them, how they can declare them. And it's not easy at all. It's a minefield, basically, especially when you're moving this type of product, especially with a lot of legal parameters and things like that exist. So yeah, obviously one country can have one parameter, another country can have several different that are completely opposite. So as well, I can help you with that. Having done a lot of work in the US, Asia and things like that, and the UK, obviously, I know, we know, how to make sure you can move your product without, running into any hitches or anything like that, because that can cause, risk of loss, damage, destroy. It can be anything from that, really. But we don't want that, basically. We never want that. So, common mistakes. I think there are a few that crop up quite a bit. One of them being sort of a courier potentially handling your shipment, where a lot of companies that start up moving CBD, they start to, because it's less risk involved, they start to move, and the high values, they start to move little product. And when they start moving, single cartons, maybe 2 or 3 cartons at a time, they can be sort of attracted by the prices that a courier such as UPS or DHL they may offer you, which is a lot of time it's very cheap. But them services, taking nothing away from them, they're very suited to low value products, which they're moving all the time. There's no issues with it. But when it comes to like CBD products and anything like that, I would highly recommend sourcing a full air freight service, or anything like maybe a sea freight if it's less urgent. But I would always recommend sourcing a full air freight service from a full freight forwarder like ourselves, but they should have experience in moving this type of product as well, because as I said, I've heard horror stories of them sourcing a full air freight service with a freight forwarder, and then it gets to the port, or it gets to the stage where you need to start performing and handing over hard evidence of what you need, etc. And they don't have a clue, which is fair enough, because I don't blame them, because it's a difficult product to be able to know what to do with it. So if you really want it to go smoothly, etc., then always speak to me or speak to someone who has experience in the field and can guide you through it step by step. An example of when we've helped a client who does move small quantity, they're not a big importer, and as I said, it's quite hard to be a big importer. You can't do that when if you're a small company. These products can be sometimes worth like £10,000 or $10,000 per 3 cartons or 4 cartons. So I don't blame them for that. But what I can help, and I have done in the past, is a guy I know in the UK, he was having issues sending his parcels via courier from several different shippers in the States. So I suggested that we could consolidate all the cartons from his suppliers all into one area, into our US office, a US JFK office, and our partner would then palletize, make sure they're all shrink wrapped nicely tight, no risk of loss or damage on a pallet, and then we move that pallet back to the UK via full air air freight service, which actually would have been more expensive to move that pallet via courier to from the US to the UK, but now it's probably, you know, it's safe. That product was worth like 35,000 pounds, so you don't want to mess about with it. And you know, there's no, with us handling, you know, there's no risk of any, you know, seizures at UK airport or anything like that. Whereas if you kept it all individual from different couriers, you've got 5 chances of a courier pulling one of those boxes, and basically that box could be lost, basically. So it's a risk that you don't really want to take. And me personally, I've never had that happen for one of our shipments, but I've heard many stories of, you know, things getting pulled in UK customs or even US customs, and you know, as a result, due to misinterpretation, mispackaging, anything like that, that it's just resulted in a bad situation, or a situation where it's been very lengthy to sort out at the end, and the end result, it wasn't really worth sorting out. So yeah, always make sure that you're sourcing advice from people that know. I've got some tips that can help you sort of moving the goods. Even if they are going through a company like us, you still need to make sure these tips are sort of adhered to. So obviously freight can be a very turbulent service. So, you know, just make sure everything's packed very tightly, all it's on its own, like plastic zip bags, anything like that, just to reduce any sort of leak or spillage. Bubble wrapping, just make sure it's packed out lovely and tight. Just make sure there's no damaged boxes being used either, because air freight carriers, if anything is damaged, they tend to, or even customs, they tend to sort of take a bit more of a keen eye on what's inside if it's been damaged or anything like that, which can cause you know, unnecessary attention. You don't need it. And also, you know, I'm not going to lie, there is people out there that know about CBD, and they want to, if they see boxes that are, you know, labelled as such, then they will sort of want to have a look. And you know, even though it's a full secure service, there is always a risk of any pilferage. So I'd always recommend blank packaging to travel between, you know, the US suppliers and your door, because people will know. People are clued up these days. They know what's inside and they know how much it's worth. So blank packaging, just to make sure that, you know, they don't know anything that's in there. So just in case they get a look at it. So yeah, just that's what I'd recommend for that. Also, I wanted to touch on Brexit as well. So I'm going to show you a video that our managing director actually recreated, which will give you a bit more information on sort of how Brexit. It's not directly associated with CBD products, but it can sort of cover that area. So I'll put that up for you now. So hope you enjoyed that. Hope it was informative for you. Oh, sorry for that interruption. Yeah, another example. I just wanted to give you regards to what we've sort of done in the past for our customers, as well as sort of the consolidation. We also handle a lot of freight from the US to the UK. That's sort of a really popular market for people, and it's a big market of where things have happened in the past where they need to explore different options, such as ourselves. We handled a quite high value, well, as you know, you probably know more than me, of CBD isolate powder from the States, which was very high secure, which is a very high security process from, I think it was near Texas to, I think it was going, the end location was actually Switzerland. But we decided to, this is before Brexit, so we decided to bring it into our secure warehouse where we have, like, you know, secure rooms, things like that. It ended up being about 4 or 5 cartons, and yeah, it was very, very high value. But we brought it into here because the customer wanted to, you know, investigate and just examine the goods before they went out to their eventual customer in Switzerland. And yeah, once it was all okayed, they came down to here, you know, and checked it out. But then once it was all okayed by them, we then arranged a dedicated transport from here to Switzerland, to make sure that there was no hitches on the way, sort of thing. We're very precise in how we act. Like we don't want to move anything on a groupage service that's worth, you know, a few quid. So, you know, we're very in that way. We'll offer advice and say, look, we don't recommend you send it via a shared trailer. We recommend sending it in its own van. This is the price. This is the transit time, etc. So I'm always here to offer my advice where I can. If I don't think something's a good idea, where I've seen it happen, you know, in the past where it's high risk, then I won't do it. Simple as that. I'll tell you. You know, I'll just tell you up front how it goes. Yeah, if you want any more sort of information on that and you think that would help you, then just give us a call or drop us an email, which you'll see at the end. I don't know about you guys, but I'm seeing quite a high demand of goods, CBD goods going to sort of Israel, South Africa, Japan, South Korea at the moment. South Korea being a big one. I've seen a lot of inquiries over there. So that might be something worth investigating more if you're sort of a seller in the UK, looking to sort of get some advice or looking to sort of open up your business since Brexit, because I know there's been a lot of inquiries since that. So yeah, no, if you do have a customer in those countries or another country and you want to investigate sort of controlling the shipping between the UK and the destination country, give us a shout. We've got a wide network. All our partners that we work with CBD have high skills and experience in handling this product. So just because we've got good experience, we're not going to outsource and let our agent in, you know, Asia or whatever not have the skills that we have. It's across the board. So your customer in those countries can feel sort of secure that they're dealing with someone who's just as experienced as us. So there's a couple of frequently asked questions that I get quite regularly, because I've attended quite a lot of like exhibitions. You've probably seen me about potentially, you know, like different CBD expos before, but and also I tend to go to customers' warehouses and customers' offices. So you may have seen me before, depending on how long and how short my hair was. But I get a lot of questions in regards to what is the limit? Is there a limit of strength of THC within their CBD product that they're allowed to import? I get that question a lot. Well, I used to anyway. And obviously, the answer is there is a limit. I've heard different limits. I've heard 0.3 before, 0.2%. I usually advise that 0.2% is sort of the barrier. Any more than that, you're playing with fire. Really, you're risking, if your cargo did get seized or anything like that, then customs have got an excuse to further investigate or whatever. But I always recommend sending the test reports with it to show and prove that it is 0.2% or beneath, because you never know. I'd always keep a copy of that in the shipping envelope that we send along the goods, or inside the cartons or pallets or whatever as well. So just to be safe, always recommend the test reports accompanying the cargo. Really, there should be no detectable traces of THC. So that's one thing I always recommend. Correct commodity codes. Now, this is the real sticking point as to why a lot of products do get pulled. So I wanted to give you a quick example of commodity codes and HS codes that we've actually got confirmed by HS Revenue and Customs. So I'll share that with you now, and these are also an example of what we've shipped before for our customers in terms of CBD products. So just to give you a bit of an idea as to what we can do. So if you take a look, these are the HS codes, so government tariff codes that we have confirmed with HS customs. So just a quick example. I'll give you a bit of time if you need to sort of clarify anything on that. Then obviously give us a call, drop us an email. Just do that. In terms of trade between the US and UK, I know there's a lot of people that currently do this, that need a hand with this, and that this is, as I said, this is the main sort of trade lane that we deal in. We not only help you with the freight itself, we actually help you with sort of all the customs documentation needs filling in both ends as well. And a lot of the time for normal freight, filling in these customs docs is pretty simple. Like, there's not a big strain on what you need to fill in, etc. But with CBD, it's completely different. Agents in the US won't help you usually. You can fill it in yourself, but as I said, you would definitely need advice when it comes to filling in this. And also, if you are importing from the US, your supplier, they're not experienced shippers either, because CBD being such a new product, they won't know what to do either. So best to seek advice from someone like myself with the experience, and I can help and go through each line with you and make sure everything's tight as anything, just to make sure nothing gets pulled, because US end it happens as well. So it's very important. I'll just show you a quick example of what it entails, just so you can see. Okay, so this is an example of what is on the form. Obviously, it might not mean much to you, just sort of looking at it from that sort of view, but as I said, it can be quite complicated, and I've helped loads of people out with this before who haven't had. I don't expect them to know, to be honest. I wouldn't know if I wasn't involved in it, but very important you get that right. I think that might be it, guys. I mean, look, as I said many times during the presentation itself, for any recommendations sort of that you need on sort of trouble-free CBD shipping, get in touch with me. I'll leave my contact details on here now, so you can take a note of them if you need to. And there we go. As I said, I've probably seen a lot of you, and I really want to get out and get back to all these sort of exhibitions and meeting you guys, because it's a family industry, isn't it? A lot of people know each other, people like to help each other, and I like to be involved in that myself as well. So thanks to the virtual CBD show for having me on today. Appreciate it. And any questions you got, sort of drop them in the message box or whatever. I've heard there's a message box, but I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.